Next opening statement, candidate Todd Long.
And thanks everyone for coming out. And you're here today because of a great passion and love for this nation. And we live in the greatest nation in the world, and we didn't get that way because we lucked into that. There were a set of core principles and values that made it so special. And our founders early on fought and died for these principles. They gave us a constitution that was supposed to guarantee us a very limited federal government that did a few things well, which is give you the greatest military in the world, take great care of our heroic veterans, secure the borders, and do a few things that states and individuals cannot do for themselves, such as give you a national energy policy using the great God-given resources God's given us plus nuclear energy. And our federal government doesn't do the things it's supposed to do and is doing a million things it's not supposed to be doing, including bankrupting our children. There's a lot of wonderful candidates up here tonight with the same principles and wonderful people I have a lot of respect for. But I'm the only candidate in this race that fights for a set of specific solutions. We put in a book called The Conservative Comeback, whether it's the fair tax, whether it's using E-Verify to make sure American jobs go to Americans, not illegals, a 12-point plan to balance budgets. I fight for specific solutions with great passion. And the reason the founders and Reagan were successful is not just that they had wisdom from God, and they understood things like this. George Washington had a great quote. He said, "Religion and morality based on the precepts of the Bible are indispensable supports of this self-government." And Reagan said the answer to all of man's problems are found in the Bible, not government. And those are eternal truths, and we got to stick to those. But each generation has its own specific challenges. And what's important, what successful leadership and the founders and Reagan had, is they had specific solutions to problems and they fought for them. That's why when Arizona finally took up the fight, which the federal government should have been doing, to secure the borders and protect themselves, I didn't sit back and watch and do nothing. We led national rallies with Sheriff Joe Arpaio. He's a national hero and a treasure. And Russell Pierce, who came up with Bill 1070, and we went out and joined them and fought for them. So what you get with me is a conservative, solution-oriented candidate. He's got a specific agenda, and it's the right message for America. We're going to send Alan Grayson home.
Time's up.
I'm out of here. See you.
Thank you, Todd. Next, with an opening statement, 2 minutes for Kurt Kelly.
Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous governs, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, and you want to underline that word, rule, the people mourn. In the original language, it's actually groan deeply. I believe that's what we're hearing from our nation today, is a great groaning. And I believe that's exactly what the Tea Party movement is moving, is we're coming forward together and saying, we've had enough. We've been taxed enough already, but it's not just fiscal. We need to bring our nation back to a moral principle and put godly people in office who will say what they mean and mean what they say. Now, I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. 10 months ago, I began to be approached by several individuals saying, Kurt, we watched as several folks said they were not going to run for this office. My good friend Larry Creedle, Dan Webster, others said, Steve Precourt, all made a commitment that they were not going to run for this office. And I had several of them come and say, Kurt, we need someone who can take on this egregious bully, who has the skill sets, the training, and the ability to stand toe-to-toe with him and actually take him out. Now, I will tell you this, you're right, Todd, we're going to have a lot of great folks here tonight, great conservatives. We've been out here doing this. We all hold to these same principles and values. But at the end of the day, you cannot change Washington if you cannot get past this egregious bully, Alan Grayson. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have taken him on. I took him on Fox the other day. He didn't like my words, and neither did Alan Combs, when I challenged him about him not standing for our military and using $73,000 to send out his own franking rights. And I'll tell you this, he went on national television and eviscerated me. My family and I are prepared for this. We prayed about this, and I've gotten in this race. I'm a fiscal, moral conservative that will stand for you, and I can beat Alan Grayson.
Our next opening statement from Dan Finelli.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. This is the first time I've ever run for office, and it's been an eye-opening experience. I've had the honor of meeting some really fine people up here. But it's really not just about that, folks. It's about where our country is going. We are truly at a crossroads. Otherwise, I wouldn't be running, I'll tell you that right now. I look at our country, we're monetizing our own debt. That means we're buying our own debt. And it's not like that's a surprise to me because I've been expecting it. It had to happen. What you do when you're in that poll and what you do when you pull that lever is going to matter more in this election than ever before. And you're going to have to use great judgment to determine who is going to go up there and fight the fight for you. Now, I went to the U.S. Naval Academy. I went out and defended our country for you, for our family. I have that national defense experience. I had some training in anti-terrorism as well as experiencing it firsthand as an airline captain flying into Washington National on September 11th. I knew at that time somebody was trying to steal our freedom, and we need to do something about it. I saw over the years the Republican Party continue to spend more than they should, and I'm a lifelong Republican, saying we need to fix this. I see the Democrats spending out of control. We are in serious trouble. That's why I was the first to say we should have had somebody in this race with a big name way back when. But you know what? It's time to get rid of the big names. It's time to go to somebody with heart. My wife and I have 3 children that we've raised and gone to college out here in the state of Florida. I looked myself in the mirror. My daughter was pregnant with our twins, a boy and a girl, and say, what are we going to give to our grandchildren? We need to come together. I need your support. You are the masters. We need to work for you. I will be your servant up in Washington. I ask for your vote. I'm Dan Finelli. Thank you.
Final opening statement now from Ross Beeling.
Thank you, Bud. First of all, thank you for coming out this evening. We are all true patriots, all Americans. I'm a father of 5. I'm a principled man. I'm a Christian. I am here for every one of you and your children that are not here. I am scared for our country, but you are not looking at a deer in the headlights. How many people here are scared? Right down to their gut. We need leadership to help move from that dark place we're in now. We don't have leadership. We have people that don't understand the problem. We have the problem, we have progressive Marxists through our government, surrounding our White House, some of the czars, the movements, the progressives moving away from constitutional values. We are in a fight for the very survival of our country. I understand the problem. I'm a business person, small business, been in healthcare for 30 years. I'm proud of that. And yes, Todd, I do have solutions. And I want to share them this evening. We have big problems, but we have quality people here that can stand up and beat Alan Grayson because he's the bozo, not the guy in the White House, the spokesman. And he's someone who has to be removed because he stands for the antithesis of what we are as a people, as a nation, and for family values that we have. So these are things, we'll get down to basics tonight, what we stand for: smaller government, lower taxes. We don't get our rights from anyone but God. And the things that we stand for to know we get our country moving again economically. And I look forward to sharing the information with you this evening. And thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Ross Beeling. And that concludes our opening statements from the candidates. Now, a little bit of a different format from what you're used to. And we're trying something new here because we are hoping that it will improve the dynamics of a forum like this, which is by nature somewhat unwieldy when you have 7 candidates. So we're going to do our best in this regard. I've come up with questions with input from our listeners, some of you in the audience on the radio, and I mean, I could have asked 100 questions. I've boiled them down to far fewer than that. I'm going to pose these questions, and keep in mind, they're going to be on a wide range of issues, because if we send one of these folks to Congress, and we hope we will, they'll be dealing with the full spectrum of issues, foreign and domestic, by definition, as a member of Congress.